Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Chris.
And this is episode 32.
The big old 3-2.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which apparently, okay, so Courtney said that like 32 is going to be a big one because at that point you've been an adult for half your life.
Ooh.
Right?
I'm 33, so that means I'm over half my life? That
sucks. No, not over half your life.
I'm having like an identity crisis
but
right now.
You've been an adult since about 16. You're like, I'm an adult, I can drive and stuff.
For sure.
And then after that, you know, you're doing adult things.
I guess. We're sitting here talking about video games in front of a camera. Adult things.
Adult things. Adult things very much in quotes.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and start off with all the games that came out for backwards compatibility. Via Major Nelson and Kotaku, and those get buried. And so if you hear something that you're like, yeah, that game, then this is how you find out about it, because otherwise they get buried in the backwards compatibility list. So if you played Garou, Mark of the Wolves, Sonic the Fighters, that's a terrible name, and Duke Nukem Manhattan Project, those are now available on Xbox One, and then Doom 3 and Monaco also came out, backwards compatibility, and that's a whole fun thing.
Yeah, it strikes me as though that like Doom 3 might even be something that's like, I don't know. I mean, again, this is all conjecture, but like it could be one of those games that they bundle with Doom on the Xbox One, because Microsoft really loves to do that. Is like they make the previous titles in a franchise backwards compatible, ironically, right at the time that the new one launches. Like Fallout 4, all of a sudden Fallout 3 is backwards compatible, and you get it when you buy the game.
And Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, if you got the day one edition of Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1 was backwards compatible as well.
It's a marketing thing, but I appreciate that.
It's great.
Because it's really fun, even if you're not going to play the game. It's fun to see kind of where the series came from. Because like Dark Souls 3 is so gorgeous. Like it's so pretty. But like it is fun to go back to Dark Souls 1 and just kind of see, okay, this is the original Firelink Shrine. This is how all this looked before, and you can kind of see. I
mean, from my perspective, like I've played Bloodborne. I've never played any of the Souls series, but I got a digital copy of Dark Souls 3 with the Dark Souls 1. So I may play Dark Souls 1 first, because from what I understand, Dark Souls 2 was not made by the same director. It very much was in the same vein, but it was much more linear, and Dark Souls 1 and 3 are both very open, kind of exploration, come back, circle back around. So I may play Dark Souls 1 first, but I'm probably just going to jump into Dark Souls 3 and stream it. I don't know, I might stream it on Twitch. If you guys want to watch me on Twitch, Redbeard_TV, and I'll just die a whole bunch. But I may do that. I don't know. It sounds like fun.
Well, it's really fun, and I promise to talk about Dark Souls for no more than 30 minutes on this episode.
Yes.
Okay, for me, as someone who has kind of played these games for quite some time, it's really entertaining to kind of see somebody else discover and explore it. Cameron is also starting with Dark Souls 3, and that's his first Souls game. I don't think he played Bloodborne, and so it'll be really fun to just kind of see how that plays out, and like it gives you everything you need, but it does have a very different approach to a lot of games. And
for sure,
it's really fun to watch and discover that with somebody, because like I'm never gonna get to play my first Souls game again.
Yeah,
but if I'm watching you do it, then I can be like, oh yeah,
I remember that part where I died. I mean, what's great about the Souls series, and I think what resonates with so many fans, and again, we're going to get back to the news, but Dark Souls 3 is on everyone's mind, including us, so we're going to talk about it.
And you can go back and watch the TWIOCH 6-hour stream.
6-hour stream, yeah. Well, I think what resonates with so many people is that they feel they have the difficulty of vintage games. And in a really weird way, like when I started playing Bloodborne, which is very similar to the Souls series, what resonated with me is how similar to like the original Super Mario Brothers it was. Because when you play the Super Mario Brothers, you unless you have any lives, if you run out of lives, you have to start over. But you remember where that first enemy is.
Yeah.
You remember that first mushroom is. You remember where that first shell is, and it's just trial and error. And that's what the Souls give you. And the game doesn't punish you. And the game is difficult, yes. But it's not an unfair difficulty. Like, there's always a trick. There's always a way to defeat an enemy.
Yeah.
Whereas other games are just unnaturally difficult. Like, for example, one of the games that I most recently played, which I loved, let me preface it with the fact that I loved it, it was really good, was The Evil Within. And I loved it. It's very much like a Resident Evil game. It's by the director who created Resident Evil series. So if you like survival horror and you never picked up The Evil Within, go get The Evil Within. It's great. What I didn't like about it, though, and I will say this, is that some of the difficulty, like in the middle of the game, just ramps up like way too high. Like all of a sudden you're fighting an enemy that like you just can't defeat. Like I was reading like walkthroughs because I'm like, what am I missing? Yeah. And there are some enemies that I just was like, okay, I guess you just don't defeat this enemy, but you can apparently. There's a way to kill them, but I unloaded like all of my ammo into them, and they were still living. So that's what sets games like that like a little bit aside from the Soul series, is that there is a way to do it. Like 99% of the reason why you died is because of either your own arrogance or just oversight on your own part.
Well, it most reminds me of like the Castlevania games or like the Mega Man games, because nobody, and I can say this with confidence, nobody beat that game the first time they played it.
Yeah.
But as you play, like, yeah, there's a leveling up system and whatever, but most of it is you getting better. And so when you go back and you start New Game Plus, then it's like, all right, I got this. Because like I finished Bloodborne, went back to Cleric Beast, and I was like, how did this guy hit me the first time? He's slow. He's big. I can see everything he's about to do. Yeah. I just annihilated him. But, and it's not because he's easier. It's because you
understand the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've learned the game, and that's what sets it aside too. Is because even the most basic enemy will be able to kill you if you let it happen. Yeah. And like that's what's so unique about them too. Is like you're basically on the same like level field where you're not this overpowered dude just rolling through enemies. Yeah. Like you're on the same playing field as the enemies. You just have to learn how to be smarter than them, I guess. But
yeah. So we're gonna dip briefly into rumors / speculation, but you'll understand why in a minute.
So the reason why we want to talk about that is because we've been talking about backwards compatibility, and if you guys remember briefly, like if you did some weird glitch and if you bought Red Dead Redemption digitally on the Xbox 360, there was a way you could download it briefly on the Xbox One until they patched it. But that tells you that it's there. It's available. It's one of the titles that's available for backwards compatibility, or it will be. And this is my theory, my personal theory, because as we were talking about before, Microsoft has a tendency of holding off on backwards compatible games like Fallout 3, and then Fallout 4 comes out and it's bundled with the game, which is it's a great bonus. I think it's super smart on Microsoft's part. It's great. I feel they're going to do the same thing, either for the announcement of a second Red Dead Redemption, or when the game releases, it'll be packed in with it, because that just makes sense. But talking about rumors, the apparently a rumored leaked map of Red Dead Redemption 2 was leaked online,
and a couple of details regarding like how it's going to play, what it's going to be, and all that stuff. And so you can if you Google Red Dead Redemption 2 map and then tab over to images, it's like, here's the thing, and then
it looks massive, and like one of the most significant parts is that there's water. So there's rumors that like you'll be able to boat to different areas, or if there's like steamboats or something like that, that'd be really cool.
And then the other one that actually came from, because like the people see water and they're like, boats. That's speculation. Onto rumor that is somewhat substantiated is the guy who originally posted it was saying that the story is going to be a prequel, which if you played to the end of the first one, makes sense. Yeah. And also, because like at the very beginning of Red Dead Redemption, you're playing as John Marston, who used to run with these bad guys, and then there was a thing that happened, and so my speculation is that we'll get to play through that, and I really enjoyed that backstory, and that the way that character was developed, it makes sense that we would get to play that, and so we'll see what happens on that, but
again, it's all rumor, speculation. I even hate talking about like rumors and stuff, because a lot of times people will ask me, oh, you heard about like the new Xbox One, and I'm like, there's been nothing. Like until Microsoft says something, nothing exists. I'm sure Rockstar didn't want leaks like that to be out, but at the same time, all it does is build excitement. Yeah. I couldn't be more excited for a new Red Dead. Like right next to The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption is my favorite game. Right next to The Last of Us, super tied. Like I just something about the Wild West just super resonates with me, and it would make sense again that you were saying that it would be a prequel because if you played Red Dead Redemption, it did take place like at the very end of the frontier time.
Yeah.
Like civilization is pushing forward.
Yeah.
It's pushing out. So like. It's the last kind of little bit of the Wild West. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at American history, ironically, I'm wearing an Oregon Trail shirt. If you go back and look at American history, like the Wild West, the whole lore of like cowboys and exploration, like that wasn't a very long time period.
It's just
it was like
little...
it was like 15 years.
Yeah,
and that was it. Like 15, 20 years of time.
But then through media, through short, it's a very limited time, but it's also a very fascinating time because the stories that came out of that, and it was this little window of opportunity.
Yeah.
Where various things were possible that weren't possible before and weren't possible after because of various social constraints, physical location. Like
sure.
it's just this really weird thing, but it in a lot of ways it kind of encompasses the essence of the American dream.
Yeah.
Because they were like, hey, land, go get it. And anybody who had the determination and the resistance to dysentery,
yeah.
The strong bowels and determination, those were the two things you needed. But anybody who had these things, it was a you can do this.
Yeah.
And it's also really interesting. The People's History of the United States by some guy. I don't remember his name, but he wrote a really interesting book. And it's kind of about the other side, the underdogs, as far as the American people and like laws being written and stuff. And this was the time period that had the most freedom, the most liberty, as far as like the individual people being able to jump up multiple social classes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what makes this interesting. And bring it back to video games. That time period is a really fascinating one, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Again, it's speculation.
But there's also been so much that's come out, like you were talking about with the Red Dead Redemption with backwards compatibility, and this leak and other leaks, and like we've just seen all these different things, and that's why I'm willing to put this on the show, because it seems like something. All the signs are pointing to this, and it just makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a fever pitch of excitement for Red Dead, which I get because again, it's like my second favorite game ever.
And then like there have been a couple of official statements, like the execs saying this is a permanent franchise. Okay, you have one game so far. If there was not another game, you wouldn't say permanent franchise. So
well, technically there's two. Red Dead Revolver on the PS2.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great. So when Rockstar,
really not.
Because I think there was like a 2K game, and it wasn't necessarily Rockstar, but like they published it, and then they basically just redid it. So Red Dead Revolver is very similar in story to Red Dead Redemption, but Red Dead Redemption really kind of got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but open world Wild West, man, I'm in. But what else we got on the news? What else do we got?
We have the official creation mode for Fallout.
Yep.
And they're taking closed beta requests for the creation kit mod, so you can make your own mods and stuff, and that's just a really weird thing for me because I'm mostly on the console side, and I'm like, aren't there already like 7,000 mods for this game?
Yeah, there are. So what's interesting with what Bethesda is doing is that they one, it's awesome that they're so open with the modding community, and that they give them the tools to do so. But I think what's significantly different is that this is going to come to consoles. It's not just going to be a PC kind of exclusive thing. And the way that that's going to kind of look is that the tools are going to be a little more accessible for people who don't understand coding. Like me, I barely even am on computers.
Yeah.
So, for the modding to come to console and being able to kind of, I think it's going to feel almost similar to the creation mode, to the community, how you can build up your communities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the game, I think it's going to kind of feel akin to that almost, where you're like, okay, cool, here is an aspect I want to apply it to this, and it's going to be much more of a visual thing than necessarily just putting in code.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see, but it's coming.
Yeah. So So if that's something that is interesting to you, then reach out to Bethesda and figure out how you can make your own things.
That's right.
Evolution, we talked about them getting closed down last week, 2 weeks ago. We talked about it in the past.
There you go.
So research the past, and that's where we talked about it. But yeah, they have been purchased and reopened by Codemasters, which to me is really exciting because I'm just gonna say this and not worry about if it's true or not. The IPs that Evolution has are really interesting. Drive Club, I think, is a Sony-owned thing, but Evolution still has access to like the MotoGP, and, like the dirt racing, and those were the ones that were more fun for me. Sim is cool. I want to take a motorbike and jump way over.
Sure,
stuff.
yeah. You know, it's like if I want to play a simulator, if I want to do something like that, I'm gonna play Forza.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just where it is. Because like in my opinion, nothing is better than Forza. As someone who's not even a racing fan, Forza's great. But Codemasters is like the perfect studio to buy them because they obviously have a pedigree in racing games and they're known for that. So you know, I mean, as long you know, the more video game companies that can be brought back to life or keep life going, I think is integral.
And like you said, it's a good combo. Like
Sure.
I'm it'll be several years before we see this, but I'm looking forward to seeing what those two groups of talent in similar fields, what happens when they merge.
It just makes sense. I mean, it's like Sony hiring Hideo Kojima and creating a new studio.
Yep.
Obviously. I mean, they've had such a great
happen.
relationship with Metal Gear and Konami in the past.
Yeah.
Not so much now. But yeah.
And they also have a reputation for letting people, like, how long was Team Ico working on? Yeah.
Well, the Last Guardian. It's apparently still coming out, but you know.
Yeah, this year allegedly.
Allegedly,
we'll see. Severed is coming out April 26th next week. I get to play Severed next week, and that makes me happy. And it's also coming out for $15, which is a bit surprising to me because their games are usually 20, 25, something like that. And like, if you played Guacamelee, you know what kind of quality you're getting because Guacamelee was so damn fun.
It's great, and it's
so fun.
It's great to have new titles on the Vita.
Yeah,
you know,
and this is the swipey and chop off arms and add them to your arms, because video games.
Yes, absolutely. and if, you know, it's what's great is I love the Vita. It's such a powerful machine. And what's the best way to play the Vita, honestly, is just invest and buy a 32 gig memory stick. They're not cheap because Sony makes all their memory proprietary. It's like $80 or something to buy a 32 gig memory stick. But if you do that and you also happen to have a PlayStation Plus account, you get 2 free games.
So many games.
I mean, like I've gotten more free. Hands down, I've played more free games on my Vita than I've bought. Yeah. You know, I think I've only bought like I got like Assassin's Creed Liberation and man, I think that was it. Like everything else I wanted to play, I've got Tearaway and Persona.
There you go.
I bought all of those because Persona is amazing.
Yeah,
it's such a good game.
And then the other thing, for me is like, you guys know I love Vita. Like, there's a lot of games that come out like indie titles that end up on PS3 are consistently. It's like, that's a Vita game now.
Throw it on the Vita.
And so like I still get to play a bunch of indie titles that kind of got left behind when the PS4 came out.
Sure.
And I love me some indie games.
That's right.
And then Rayman is so perfect for Vita.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking about Vita. Sorry, everybody who doesn't.
Move on with the news.
Get on with it.
So Koi.
Did
you know about this one?
I don't.
Okay. So this is the first game to come out of China.
Okay.
And come to the West because like they have their own whole separate ecosystem.
And
they get their own games or whatever. But this is from like a PlayStation division in Shanghai.
Okay.
And they have made a game where you play a koi in a pond and you're like untangling stuff and
that sounds awesome.
And cleaning up a pond. Yeah, it honestly kind of sounds like a That Game Company game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that comes out April 19th, which is today-ish. I think that's today. So I don't know. Time is strange.
Time is so strange.
Time is strange. But yeah, Koi is coming out today, and the PlayStation announcement is Bring Light to the Darkness. The Beautiful Adventure Koi arrives April 19th on PS4, which is fun because on the PS4, I'm also embracing the darkness. So, I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted now. Dangerous Golf.
Dangerous Golf.
God, I cannot wait for that. You know about
way
that
better.
one?
No, I don't, but it sounds way better than Safe Golf.
Okay. Yes, Safe Golf. Safe Golf is not a TWIOCH nor Redbeard approved
That's
product.
right.
Okay, so Dangerous Golf is Three Fields Entertainment, who is the studio formed by the original Burnout people.
Oh, okay.
So this is the golf game where you get to blow everything up.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. I remember hearing about this.
So that's coming out in June, which if you listen a couple episodes ago, that was Patrick's prediction. So if it comes out in June, he gets a point. And I don't know what we're gonna do with those points, but he will get a point.
They're adding up. Good job, Patrick.
Yeah. So we're excited about that, and that's coming closer. They're in testing phase, and yeah, we will keep updating you on that.
Dangerous Golf.
And when that comes out, I will stream the crap out of that because that looks stupid and fun.
Well, I mean, it just with the success of Rocket League, it just makes so much sense to come out with like sports games with a really fun twist.
Yeah.
And it's such a logical step. And if we can get more explosions in sports, I might start giving a crap about sports.
Sports. Hashtag more explosions.
More explosions.
Enter the Gungeon, which I recommended highly. If you're into roguelikes and you're not playing Enter the Gungeon, you're behind. You need to be playing Enter the Gungeon because it's a game where you can be a bullet shooting bullets at bullets.
Who doesn't like more bullets?
It's so fun, and like the inside jokes, and like I've gotten boomsticks and t-shirt cannons and portal guns and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I'm always really happy when an indie developer that has a crazy idea that kind of speaks to me when they succeed, and they have sold 200,000 copies in a week,
Man.
and they are now profitable.
There you go.
So they can now turn out and make the next one.
There you go.
I'm really happy for them because there's so much stuff coming out, and there's an obscene number of games that come out every week, and some of them are going to succeed, some of them are going to fail. These guys, just charged in, made their dream, and they made a profit, which means that we'll get something else from those guys. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. So Leslie Benzies and Rockstar North / Take-Two are suing each other all over the place. So Leslie Benzies went on a sabbatical shortly after GTA 5 came out, and then he tried to come back to work, and his key didn't work anymore, and like they kind of shuffled him out. But like he's been with Take-Two since they did the GTA 3 thing and got it started. Like he's one of the names, along with the Hauser brothers, that made that. And so they're
to be slighted like that, I'm sure that's doesn't feel good. So lawsuits.
And it is kind of fascinating, but it's also really horrible. He's saying he deserves $150 million more because he was sneakily pushed out the door, and they're saying, no, you said things and broke clauses. And so if this aspect of gaming, the behind the scenes corporate backstabbery is interesting to you, you have a new story to follow. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it, but it's weird.
I do like the term backstabbery though. That's fun.
Backstabbery, yes. There was backstabbery, and honestly, I mean it's Rockstar, so I mean it's interesting when the narratives and something that a game is known for, like this seems like a story that could be in GTA.
Right.
And it'd be dirty if it ends up in GTA 6 though.
We'll see.
We'll see. So if it does, and you see a guy named Leslie who's running around,
suing everyone,
now you'll know where that came
there you
from.
Go.
Oculus Rift is dealing with some pretty substantial delays because when you pre-ordered, you got a date, and it was like, here's when your thing's gonna get there, and most people were getting April, May, June kind of stuff. But some of the people even that had an original April date, now they're seeing like August and October, and they are not excited about that.
It's to be honest, it's kind of not surprising to me. I know VR is the next big thing, but it is the next big thing, and with innovations like this in gaming, like it takes time.
Yeah.
Especially with something that requires this kind of much tech. Not to mention the games and the specs and all of the things that you need to go with it, and like the costs that are involved in making them, and then I'm sure their quality assurance department has found a bunch. Because if you have a substantial amount of people, and I'm not saying this is the case, I have no idea, but if you have a substantial amount of people who first got the first wave of them and they're defective, or things are not working the way they're supposed to, they're not working the way that the build ones, the testing and the demo ones were working, then they have to hold that off. They don't want to keep sending out other stuff.
It's better to have a delay than to ship out a broken product.
Absolutely. I mean, they have Facebook money, so I'm sure eventually it's going to be going to be totally polished but yeah, I mean, I can only imagine the frustration for people who drop that amount of cash, are waiting for one. I mean, I know I would be, pretty anxious as well, but I'm just waiting for the Sony VR, because I don't have like a $3,000 rig that'll play an Oculus game.
Yep. And speaking of Oculus, apparently there's a deal now where the community has already gotten a hold of this, and some of the Oculus quote unquote exclusives are now playable on Vive, which makes sense because they're doing very similar software, it's similar hardware, and they're trying to figure this out. And then the Oculus execs are very upset about this. Also, obviously, because they're like, hey,
we were going to be the first ones. I mean,
don't do that.
In a lot of ways, Oculus was the first, was the first company to come out and kind of spearhead the VR experience.
Yeah.
But as far as like the software companies are concerned, as far as the developers are concerned, they're much better off getting their games on more devices. Because if they're just making stuff exclusive for the Oculus and no one has them. That's
it's going to be a very limited niche audience, and you want to get that out to more people.
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be honestly the problem with VR, is I think that there's going to be so many companies that are going to flood the market that want to make VR games. Like, we want to make a VR game, but like there's going to be so many people that do it, but not enough people are going to be buying it. So like,
and as a game developer, it's really exciting because you have this whole new frontier and all these new options, and you get to do like I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago about how they had to rethink audio design, because instead of having, you've got your screen and then you've got something that goes, a sound that starts right here, they're having to create it in 3D space so that the sound can be here behind you instead of just up on your screen. And they have to kind of create the new world.
Three-dimensional sound design.
Yeah, and it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be more difficult. It's going to be more. And
it's going to be more awesome once it's out. Yeah.
But so we'll see how all this plays out. The other aspect of this is that developers who want to develop exclusively or have committed to developing exclusively for Oculus, those are less likely, because you're not going to buy the Oculus game for your Vive because you can't.
Right.
And so developers who committed to Oculus, counting on that Facebook money, I don't know what's going to happen there. And I feel like that there are going to be more studios opening and closing in the next 2 to 3 years than we have ever seen before.
Unfortunately, I think that's true.
That's scary and unfortunate, but
we'll see.
So we wish everyone the best. Respawn has announced an announcement of a teaser.
They've teased a teaser.
They teased the teaser and announced the announcement. I don't know. June 12th is when we're gonna find out about Titanfall 2. So they've basically, had they said that it was real before? Like,
the president of the company outright said, he's like, why wouldn't we be making Titanfall 2? He didn't say they were. Then he's like, but it was kind of like, of course we're making Titanfall 2.
Come on, guys.
And I think the biggest thing is that did get announced a long time ago, is that it will come to both consoles and PC. So it's not going to be a Microsoft exclusive. Again, like we were talking about in earlier news stories, the more consoles that you can get your game on,
Yeah.
the better it's going to be. Especially for a game that's such a niche online only market. You know, it's only multiplayer. There was not
This
really.
one, they're gonna put a story in.
They're going to put a campaign in because it makes sense. I mean, I personally would have loved a campaign for Titanfall 1 because, you know, I played it quite a bit. I loved it. I loved jumping in the mechs. I loved that whole aspect of it. I loved the wall running. It was the feel of it, the movement, and the mobility of your character was just amazing.
Yeah.
This one, apparently, the mechs are going to have swords because that was on the teaser of the teaser. And you see the sword. I'm like, that'll be awesome, like big giant melee weapons. But yeah, I want a campaign, man. Same as Star Wars Battlefront.
And I'm really happy for this because Titanfall. I mean, Respawn just went all in on this thing, and they were like, online only and Xbox, and we're gonna do crazy stuff. And a lot of times when an independent developer tries to do that, it doesn't do well enough for them to make their next product. Like Assassin's Creed 1, it's good, but Assassin's Creed 2 like steps up in every category.
Well, they certainly listen to their audience. I know Ubisoft did, but you know, it's with Respawn. You know, the story behind them. You know what they used to be.
I do not.
So the story behind Respawn is most of Respawn, like we're talking 90 to 95%, was Infinity Ward. After Modern Warfare 2 came out, Infinity Ward had a lawsuit against Activision because they weren't paid their proper royalties. And in many ways, Infinity Ward, Call of Duty was a franchise. It was a known franchise, but Infinity Ward created Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty was not a big deal before Call of Duty 4. Yeah. Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3 were great World War II shooters, and they had a really fun multiplayer. Yeah. But Call of Duty 4 came out, and that's what
that's what made the franchise.
Yeah, so like that was the first game to compete against Halo. So before then, it was just Halo. Multiplayer is Halo. And then Infinity Ward came out, and I remember the word of mouth because I was selling video games then too, and everyone was like, "Oh, this Call of Duty 4. I need to get all this Call of Duty 4." So Call of Duty 4 came out, and it was huge. And then when Modern Warfare came out, when World at War came out the next year, a lot of people were like, well, what is this World War II thing? We want Modern Warfare. And so when Modern Warfare 2 came out, they didn't call it they didn't call it Call of Duty 6. It was called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which was technically Call of Duty 6.
Right, and that set up the staggered
releases
and giving them time to make.
And I mean, that was when it was huge. Like, arguably, Modern Warfare 2 was the first huge Call of Duty launch.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, World at War was very successful, but it was really successful because Call of Duty 4 was so successful. Well, Infinity Ward had very much a falling out with Activision. So, a lot of the members of the studio took part in this lawsuit and left. And they started Respawn, and then they started making Titanfall.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of people didn't like Call of Duty Ghosts. That was the new Infinity Ward, which was a very small studio.
Which was a rebuilt studio.
Yeah, I mean, when Modern Warfare 3 came out, that was mostly Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer had to come in because Infinity Ward was a very
I do remember
it was a splintered development studio.
Neversoft actually ended up being a lot of because they had helped with like the multiplayer maps for a long time, but a lot of them ended up becoming Infinity Ward.
Yeah, it's unique how a lot of those studios kind of have shifted because what's funny is Treyarch is like the new kind of Call of Duty standard as far as the Black Ops games. Yeah. A lot of people consider Black Ops 2 to be the best. Black Ops 3 is doing really, really well. I love all of them. I have a very soft spot in my heart for Treyarch because I love those guys. I've been to the studio once. They're awesome. But what's funny is Treyarch used to make the old gen Tony Hawk games. So they were like the secondary studio.
Yeah.
Where Neversoft was like Activision's cash cow.
Right.
And Treyarch was making their secondary ones, and then Treyarch made World at War, and when they came out with Black Ops, everyone was like, wow!
I love these stories behind the stories and the story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that lives were destroyed and whatever. But it is really fascinating. And one of the things that I really like about Neversoft is they go from
well, they're not a company anymore.
Right, but this studio, like they do some things and then they hit Tony Hawk. They do that for a while and then they go, yeah, we're done with that. And then they do Guitar Hero, and then they're like, yeah, we're done with that. We're gonna do shooting people now.
They did the first 3 Spider-Man games too.
Yeah. And like the amount of versatility and hey, let's do this thing now.
Yeah.
I love a studio that just goes out there and explores what else they can do.
Sure.
And that studio's story is one of the most fascinating for me personally.
Yeah, and it kind of goes hand in hand with Respawn, because that's why Titanfall was so successful. That's why Titanfall 2, I think, is going to be even bigger, because they have that pedigree of multiplayer shooters.
Yeah.
They made Call of Duty like a household name, but they're Respawn Entertainment now. They're not.
Right.
But a lot of those people behind making the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2 is Respawn.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So yeah. We'll see what happens with that, and we will keep you up to date on those things. Have you played Rust?
I have not.
Me neither, but we have a story about it. So Rust, you previously got to kind of be like, hey, I'm gonna make a character and character design and stuff. I don't know why, but this past week they decided that they're just going to randomly generate a character, and that's you now. And it randomly assigns like skin tone and muscles and tallness and gender, and the internet was thrilled about it. They all just jumped onto the forums and said, "Thank you, developer, for letting me not pick my gender."
That's sarcasm.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's not what happened at all. So a bunch of people got really upset about that. But yeah, it's they assign gender permanently based on your Steam ID. So if you buy that game, then it's like, hey, here's who you are. Good luck with that. And it's a really weird move by the developer.
It's a really weird move. I mean, like, had they come out the gate and that's how the game was originally,
Yeah.
it would have made sense, because I honestly, I wouldn't mind. I like playing games that have characters created, like, because I just take way too long in the character creation. Like, my wife was making her Dark Souls 3 character last night, and she was doing it for like an hour.
Well, yeah, there's so many sliders.
There's so many sliders, so many selections, and my ego knows no bounds. So all my characters end up looking like me, and because if there's a beard aspect in the game, boom. Yeah, that's why I loved Mad Max. Like, one of the upgrades was you could make a bigger beard. Yeah. How great is that? I was like, this is the best game ever. You have upgradable beards. Awesome. Yeah, if you haven't played Mad Max, it's amazing.
Hashtag upgradable.
Upgradable beards. Yeah. But yeah, it's unique. Maybe that's just a decision on the studio's part to be like, hey, we just need to live in a world sometimes where you shouldn't complain about, I don't know. I don't get it either. But
it's just a weird story. I don't really have a whole lot on it. I just wanted to bring it up. Just
strange. So if you're a fan of Rust,
let you know.
Sorry.
That if you go back into Rust, you might have had a gender switch. So good luck with your new life, and have
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Battlefront continues to bring out characters. They're bringing Lando and Dengar.
Yep.
Which is he's the super wrapped up. Looks like he's ready to go to Hoth assassin, right? In the lineup.
Yes.
I think that's Dengar.
We have access to the internet.
No, we don't look up stuff. We declare things as fact, and then we check them later and apologize.
I'm
you see, he's
Dengar. Where are we? We'll just edit this all.
What I'm looking for? Hey, he'll probably just leave it in. No, when you give me IG-88, I might buy Battlefront. Yeah,
that's him.
The Hoth wrapped up guy.
The wrapped up guy. Yep,
yeah, I was
him.
right.
He was right.
But yeah, give me IG-88.
Yeah,
I want to run around Battlefront as IG-88 because that dude is cool as hell.
Yep, what's the name of the robot, the droid from Knights of the Old Republic that wanted to kill all the humans? Oh man, someone's gonna comment and hate us that we forgot.
Yeah.
Again, Google.
They can hate you because you forgot.
I forgot, but I'm the one that brought him up.
Knew.
Evil droid.
But yeah, so I mean, and mine IG-88's a droid. So basically, what we're asking for is more droids.
HK-47.
HK-47.
That's him. Yeah.
Oh,
you remember HK-47?
Yeah.
He calls everyone meatbags and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude's cool.
He was great,
and he would totally fit into Fallout too.
He would totally fit into Fallout.
So yeah, so new characters, and I like how they keep on rolling out characters. That
I would love though is if they rolled out like a campaign, because I want to play that game by myself because it's gorgeous. Like, it's such a beautiful game.
And I want to just sit there and look, because like like you were talking about, the first however long of Dark Souls 3 is the character generator. The next half hour is
this is
look, that's a giant wall.
I mean, it's such a great game, but I'm not a really competitive person. Like, it's fun, and I totally get the appeal of the competitive multiplayer, and like, that's all it is in Battlefront. But I want there to be like even like a co-op mode that was more story based and not just objective driven, where it's like, okay, you're gonna fight you're gonna fight waves of enemies, go, and like, that's great, and I know there's a huge audience for it, but man, like, I would love a campaign. I would love a little bit of like content, context.
My thing is that is so pretty.
Yeah,
it's such a pretty game. Let me look at it.
Yeah,
without getting shot in the head.
Exactly.
I like looking at things without getting shot in the head.
That to me, that's like a telltale sign of a great game is where you're playing and then all of a sudden you just take a step back and you're like, I mean, I can't tell you how often I did that in Red Dead Redemption, and that's like last gen graphics, but it's still gorgeous.
Yeah, and
which is why I'm more than ecstatic about the possibility of a sequel. But man, I really wish DICE would come up with like a single player content. I mean, I'd buy the season pass if they did that, and I knew if I knew it was coming. But who knows? I mean, they're going to support the game for a long time. It's I know there's going to be more EA Star Wars games,
and like going back to we're talking about Titanfall, and they were like, yeah, we heard you, we'll get you some stuff, and so I feel like the next time we get more Battlefront. There's going to be a Battlefront.
There's going to be one of them. I mean,
there's whatever.
There's a lot of rumors that Star Wars 13 is coming back, which we all learned after. Yeah, after it was
so bad.
I mean, I remember I have like some really cool postcards that I was given like as a vendor gift from that game that is now canceled that are really neat. Yeah, I'll bring them over next time. But it was really cool because I got the opportunity to see like a trailer and like actual gameplay. I actually got my hands on it, and the character very much looked like Boba Fett, Jango Fett. So like it was a Boba Fett origin story, but I think that was a lot of the reasons why it was canceled is because Disney wants to do their own Boba Fett story. So that makes sense. And of course EA acquired all the rights and LucasArts closed down. But just more Star Wars single player campaigns or even co-op campaigns I would love. But I want a story. I want to play that and the possibilities are endless. EA has EA money and they have Star Wars money now.
Yeah, they do. Cappy, who has helped, I think it's Clee, somebody else actually did Don't Starve, but Cappy helped with the Land of the Giants expansion, and now they've put forward another one, which is Shipwrecked, which you go out on the ocean and you float into the things, and
then you don't starve.
And then you starve.
You starve,
you die, you drown, you burn, you dark to death.
Yeah, but the idea is to not do those things. I'm not very good at Don't Starve.
But the design is that eventually you're going to hit one of these things and it will kill you.
Yes.
So look forward to dying on the ocean.
There you go.
Because that will be an option this spring on PS4. What's your favorite Final Fantasy?
Man, I know this is going to sound cliche, but 7.
Okay.
7 is.
All right. 7 is a great one, and 7 introduced a lot of people to RPGs.
And that's what it did. It's so like I never got around to them before. I know that a lot of people are loyalists and they love the original ones that were on the NES and things like that. Yeah. But 7 was the first one I got my hands on. It was the first opportunity I had to that I really enjoyed grinding, and I'd never experienced a game where I'd put so many hours and it was so big.
Yeah. And there was so much to do. Like it wasn't just grinding. Like you could loop around and get all these weapons and these spells and like collect all the things.
You can explore and you float around the world, and like I just remember distinctly just kind of running around on foot in the same area trying to like just spawn a battle. Yeah. And I loved it. Yeah, 7 was great. I'm so excited. 9 was good, and it's finally coming to Steam.
Yeah, they put it. They managed to put it on phones before they got it to Steam.
They did.
Square Enix never stopped being weird.
Yeah. Matter of fact, speaking of Square Enix, and we're talking about RPGs, I just got. I never played it, but the wife and I just got Bravely Default because Bravely Second just came out this past week. Right. And I got a chance to play Bravely Default, and I'm like, this feels like Final Fantasy. And I think what was really significant about Bravely Default, and now you're seeing things like Final Fantasy IX finally coming to Steam after they announced it, is that Square Enix is really kind of taking a step back, and they're like, oh, like Western culture. They really like turn-based games.
How
still.
about that?
How about that? It's so weird because for the longest time they've really been pushing and striving to make like real-time like action and they saw the success of Kingdom Hearts and they just assumed that's how all RPGs should be made. Whereas a lot of people really like the turn-based stuff. I'm playing Pokemon Blue right now. Never played a Pokemon series before. It's a turn-based RPG, and I love it. It's great, and I can't wait to get my hands on Bravely Default because something about like that ability to just kind of grind to make the end boss and end characters easier is really satisfying to me. Because if you put the time in, it makes it like a lot less challenging.
And that kind of helps with the, I'm grinding, I'm enjoying this game, I'm enjoying the music, I'm enjoying the characters, and I'm getting stronger. Like there's a sense of progress and accomplishment, and that's just good game design.
Absolutely.
And so
keep it up, Square Enix.
Keep doing your thing.
Keep coming out with turn-based games.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy IX is basically okay, the ending's really fun. Watch it on YouTube. Chocobo Hot and Cold, the mini game in that one, is the best, and that's what you need to be playing. So get to I think it's the third one, which is kind of like in a swamp type area. That's the one that you want to play for 10, 15 hours.
There you go.
That one's a heck of a lot of fun.
Raiders of the Broken Planet is coming out from the folks that made Castlevania, the original series, including David Cox. It's going to be coming to Windows, the Xbox One, and the PS4. This year, right?
Yes, that's supposed to be coming out later this year. It's Mercury Steam, which is a lot of the Castlevania folks from Konami, because people who exit Konami still have good ideas.
That's right.
In fact, most of the people with good ideas
left
Konami.
It's actually a smart idea to do that because Konami doesn't treat their people right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
nor their franchises.
Yep.
But yeah, so this looks interesting. We don't know a whole lot about it yet, but that'll be coming out later this year, and we'll let you know. I'll probably be buying that because David Cox is just a producer, but he only connects himself to projects that he believes in.
Sure.
I've heard a couple of interviews with him, and bottom line, he gets it.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to see what this is, how we play it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really great to see a lot of these really creative artists and directors that have made such namesakes. Of speaking of like Mega Man, you have the creator of Mega Man coming out with Mighty Number 9, and theoretically sometime it's supposed to release. But
yeah, I backed that. I have some issues.
We're seeing the same thing though with Castlevania, and I'm patient. I can wait. I mean, the way I see it, it's like I have Shovel Knight, so I'm getting my Mega Man fix.
Yep.
But Mighty Number 9 looks amazing too, as well as I'm sure Raiders of the Broken Planet is going to be awesome as well.
Yeah. So whenever that comes out, we will play it. Jackbox Games said that they're going to allow user-generated content to come out for Drawful 2, which, as we announced last time, has twice as many colors to draw with. I'm excited.
There you go. Party
and
games.
You'll be excited someday.
After I play it.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it a go for sure.
But yeah, so like basically this allows the game to continue in perpetuity, to constantly have new material.
Yep.
And I appreciate that. So hopefully there will be some kind of vetting system so that we don't just get, although I do kind of want to put up poop trash. Anybody who watched that stream, you know what I'm talking about, but poop trash. Hi, Cameron. Anybody playing Division on Xbox One might have gotten screwed this past week with the Division characters suddenly vanishing and logging in and finding out that your character is gone. Well, I have good news for you. I'm going to start with the good news and then kind of give the backstory on it. The good news is that they saved the characters before they applied the patch, so you will get to have your progress before then. You'll need to reset whatever progress you made on other characters, but you can kind of loop back around. And it was apparently an Xbox One specific issue.
Bug. Yeah.
That it corrupted the files on the server side and kept them from being able to export to the new system. But
it's unfortunate, but games like of this size sometimes crummy stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
But they made it right. They fixed it.
Yeah.
So it's fixed now. But if you guys encountered that, let us know in the comments, and we'd love to hear from anybody that did. And I'm sure that was extremely frustrating. But it's still I'm still playing it. Division's still going strong for me, and but I'm on the PS4, so I haven't encountered that.
Yeah.
But I'm loving it. I got the DLC. I bought the season pass because I was like, yep, you can have my money.
Have you done the incursion?
I have not done the incursion yet. I've only
heard that's like just stupid hard.
Yeah, I've heard that it's. I mean, like that's the thing though. You know, when you reach end game, they're gonna, like, Ubisoft is gonna have to keep, you know, creating new content and stuff like that, which they will. And you know, because it's more of a, like, Division is more of a platform, much like Destiny is.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna build on top of it. But yeah, maybe we're jumping on that this weekend or something like that. Maybe I'll do some streams and that'll be fun.
Cool. So yeah, check out the streams. And to our final section, which is Weird Story of the Week.
Yeah.
So Flappy Bird, that game was a big deal,
and then it disappeared.
That nobody knows, like nobody can explain why anybody cared or should care about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was addicting. You just tapped.
Tap.
The Flappy Bird.
Tap. Blah.
Yes.
Yeah, with stolen assets. But yeah, apparently somebody modded Flappy Bird to play on an e-cigarette.
On an e-cig.
So you can just tap the one button and...
What they won't do with e-cigs.
I don't know why, but I thought that this was one of the funniest things.
I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
It's pretty clever that, like, you know...
Props to whoever figured out...
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, see, but I do kind of picture... Okay, so they've got an e-cigarette in this hand, and they have another smoking thing in this hand, and they go... It would be cool. Flappy Bird on this thing.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Man, I don't trust e-cigarettes to not explode, let alone, like, to play Flappy Bird, but... That's just me, I don't smoke, so...
Yeah.
But crazy story. I mean, like... What creative people won't do with e-cigs and or Flappy Bird.
Yeah, so don't let that marinate too long, because that'll go into crazy places real fast.
Yes.
So that's the news we got for this week. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what stories you found, because I missed a couple of podcasts. So you can yell at me for missing some of the news. If I missed some of it.
Yeah.
Right, because he's not taking responsibility for it.
I'm just here.
He's just
here
subbing
to provide opinions.
to pretend to be Patrick.
I'm the Patrick for the week.
The Patrick of the week.
The Patrick of the week.
So there you go. And we'll see you next week. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah. Raiders of the Lost... No, not Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Nope.
It's definitely not Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's try that again. Raiders of the Block... Oh, I can't.
You want me to do it?
I can't do podcast. Yeah.
All right.